Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Radio MVP's The Ice Castle Report. As the Penguins continue their roll early in the season, back in the winning column with a 31-28 victory on the road at Townsend. As the Tigers go down defeat to the last moment on a field goal, we're going to talk all about that. Anthony had a chance to watch the game. Unfortunately, I was blacked out. I did not have the opportunity to get to it, but I heard a lot of it. I've read a lot about it. So we're going to talk about this game and the 3-1 Youngstown State Penguins. Anthony, how you doing, my friend?
I think my nerves and my blood pressure have finally settled back down to normal, healthy levels after Saturday night. Boy, what a game! What a game! You give credit to Towson. That's a good football team, especially playing their first home game of the year. Kind of weird to start with 3 road games, but um, Tim, we talked about it last week, and I said, we could sit here and go through Andrew Endorf, their quarterback, and Josh Dunmore, John Dunmore, the receiver, and uh, all the playmakers they got. But I said this is a program game. Let's see if we can finally win on the road. The Michigan State game was a really positive sign of things come together offensively, defensively, special teams. Um, it was not pretty Saturday night. It was far from that. I think I've relegated myself to accepting that it's never going to be easy for this team on the road, especially. And you know what? I don't care as long as we get the win. It was um, really a tale of 2 different games, Tim. I mean, the first 5-10 minutes we dominated outside of their first drive and their missed field goal. Penguins pretty much controlled the first quarter, um, and then in the second and third quarters was just it was ugly. It was you're watching it, it's like, oh man, this is. I thought to myself, I'm like, man, here we go again. We're going to play really well against Michigan State, and then we go on the road and we can't figure out a way to win. And I'll be honest, last year's team does not win this game. Last year's team probably doesn't make it a competitive game. So
I agree with that.
that is a big sign of leadership being there. The culture may be changing. But it's a lot of guys stepping up, Tim. There are some concerns that we can talk about. But we've talked about it since the Mercyhurst game, and you talked about it especially. Can Bo Brungard and this offense throw the ball to win the game? And he looked really good throwing the football against Michigan State. And in the fourth quarter, wow. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
It was touch and go. He's never going to be a CJ Stroud per se, where it's really pretty all the time. But when we needed it the most, Tim, Bo delivered with his arm more so than his legs. And it was just
You know what?
really good to see.
Yeah, and I'll say this. It is obvious, and I say this now that we've played 4 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
This is Bo Brungard's team, meaning
Yep.
as Bo goes, so does the Penguins. Simple as that. They built the entire offense around the quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a terrible thing, but he is the offense. Let's
Yes,
be
yes.
straight up honest about it. What we've seen the last 2 weeks is exactly what you just said. The passing game becoming efficient and a big
Mm-hmm.
part of the offense, unlike the first 2 weeks of the season,
Yes.
where it was really a work in progress. Let's be kind. It was a dominant rushing team led by the quarterback as your leading rusher.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't changed, but what has changed is they're throwing for 250 yards per game. and they're throwing touchdown passes. They're getting the
Mhm.
receivers involved. You know, Max Tomzak over 115 yards receiving. Had a big game, averaging close to 17 yards per catch. Those are
Mhm.
big numbers. That's something that you need out of your offense, no matter what you're doing. And I think that's encouraging. You know, would I love to see them actually get somebody else in the running game activated in more of at least a semi-featured back? Yes.
Mhm.
I just worry that in today's football, that you're always one play away from losing your most important player.
Yeah, you are. You
And
are.
not that this team cannot win this way, and it's demonstrated that it can. I think last week against Michigan State gave them all the ammunition to go forward and show what they can do and be ready for the upcoming weeks in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. And I
Mhm.
really like all those scenarios.
Mhm.
My biggest concern is this, and I'm going to say it, and it's not true, but it's a one man show. It's an 11-man offense, but it's a one man show.
No, that's.
Nothing wrong with that because it's successful.
Mhm.
But my biggest concern is they're one play away from the complete disaster.
No, I think um, coming into the season, I told people, and we talked about it, Tim, that this was not going to be your traditional Youngstown State offense. He Phillips made up his mind that we needed to become more explosive. He was right. We have become more explosive. We are working on that gradually each game by hiring Mike Yursich. The days of just us lining it up and running it down your throat 70% of the time, those are over. And it's going to take a little bit to get used to. Um, there's there are concerns like I mentioned. I think for the first time in my 34 years, Tim, that I can remember, this is probably the weakest running back room that we've had. And no
Yeah,
offense
I
to those
can agree
guys,
with that.
they're talented players. They are talented players, but and they're good football players. But compared to what we're used to, and we've been really spoiled. I mean, we have been spoiled. Let's say we have
Yes.
been blessed beyond belief that every year we could roll out not one but two dynamite backs. It started in the 90s with Tressel. Haycock continued it. Wolford continued it. Pelini continued it. And then Phillips found a diamond in the rough in Jaleel McLaughlin. Um,
Okay, let me stop you here for
so,
a second.
yep.
We just ran out of free time. I thought we'd have a half hour, but we don't. Um, let's do this. Let me see what I can do. Let's kind of curiosity here. Let's end the broadcast. Let's just see what happens.